The To Be Determined Show live Wednesday nights, 9 Central Standard Time. Join myself, the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, and the Magic City Runner, Fast Eddie Layne, as we take you to the edge of uncensored. Yes, we go uncensored, so make sure you have your earmuffs. Ask your parents, for those of you that are a little young, maybe under 18, but make sure if you have any heart conditions or any mental defects, please listen, because they may take effect right here live every Wednesday night, 9 Central Standard Time. Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
The views and opinions expressed by the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, are of my own and no one else, nor do they reflect Beyond Ringside. So, ladies and gentlemen, due to the graphic nature of this program, listener discretion is advised.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Wednesday night. That means it's Wrestling Wednesday, the To Be Determined Show, live Beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com. And the espresso is ready, as you can hear. I'm the Oracle of Ominous, the architect of intellect, the Wicked Nemesis, also, as we call it, the necessary evil. Thank you for joining us this evening. My producer and co-host, Fast Eddie Layne, on the line as well. Eddie, how are you doing this evening?
So far, so good. It's been a beautiful day, weird day, but I'm just going to sit back and say this. You can take my house. You can take my money. You can take my tricks and toys. But there's one thing you can't take away. Especially after last night. I am Iron Man.
Okay, Tony Stark, we appreciate that.
Damn straight.
Well, I have to start off the show on a kind of a somber note. As we talked about last Wednesday, a friend of mine, Willie Jonikin, passed away very suddenly. Found out right before the show. His funeral was today. Tried to get home, ended up weirdly getting stuck behind his funeral procession on my way home to get ready for the funeral. It was one of those moments where I saw his mom and his dad, and as they passed by, I heard somebody just laying on the horn. I was like, who in the fuck is laying on the horn? Come to find out it was the hearse. And I saw it pull through, and I saw Willie's mom, and I really wanted to wave and just go, Miss Jonikin. But, of course, I didn't, because it'd be in bad taste, and ended up getting home. By the time I got out of the shower, there was no way I could have made. The funeral had already started, so did get to go to the viewing last night. It was very quaint. At Aniston Funeral Services in Aniston, Alabama. It was weird to see Willie there. Willie, only 35, just passing away very suddenly of a heart attack, of all things. This is a man who played college baseball. Was also a standout in the state of Alabama for high school baseball. So it was very weird seeing that. I've been to a few funerals before, mostly older family members or family members that were sick. I've been to a few funerals, as I spoke about today with my friend Big Jeezy, Kevin Gonzalez. I've been to a few funerals where there were some overdoses, some drugs involved, and those are always the weirdest funerals, because then we're all looking at each other like, yep, it's all because of us that this motherfucker's buried, because all of us knew what was going on and nobody could fucking stop it. So those are always the weirdest funerals. But I heard Willie's mom did not take it well. And whenever she saw our friend Scott McKenzie, she kind of lost it, and I knew she would, because Scott and Willie were very close. So once again, my well wishes in regards to Willie's family, because very sudden, 35 years old, died of a heart attack. But I digress. Last night, GCW Radio kind of went off the rails a little bit.
Not really, believe it or not. We pretty much kept it on there.
Oh, we try. I know that the GCW fans are always very taken back to hear Dan Sawyer cut loose on the radio, and it's always fun to us, those that know Dan very well. Last night, very fun. Just yourself, Dan, and me on there. We learned a lot. We actually found out the full card, some very interesting matchups. The Merchants of Death in full force. The Real Deal, AJ Steele, Bosnian Badass, Spiral, and the Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, still in the mix for the GCW World Heavyweight Championship Tournament. Eddie, let's just go ahead and run down this card and give our take on it, because we can be a little loose since you are the liaison to the commissioner.
Yeah.
Another word. That's another way of saying you're doing all the bad shit that Bullet Bob didn't have time for.
Pretty much. And
Yeah,
go
we
back
all-
and go batshit crazy in the process.
Oh, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. That old man, you know he needs help. Because, Eddie, we saw you turn from black to gray and waste a heel turn all in the commissionership. So,
Hashtag never waste a heel turn.
heel turn. I knew it was coming.
Gotta love it.
Go right ahead. Okay. What the card, sir?
Well, let's go ahead and break it down a little bit. You started to bring it up, and of course, that would be the crown jewel of professional wrestling, Jimmy Rave, taking on the complete wrestling machine, the Bosnian War Child, Spiral. These two are going neck and neck as far as how many different nicknames they do have to work with. From that vantage point, dude, you've got a beautiful contrast in styles going with Jimmy Rave and Spiral. Spiral, a great ground attack. By the same token, he will take to the air at the drop of the hat. Jimmy Rave has had an absolutely phenomenal 2015. Just when you thought he was starting to disappear a little bit off the map, that became less of a blip and more of a volcanic eruption, more than anything else. Rave has got probably the most. What is the right word that I'm looking for here? Diverse moveset.
I was going to say moveset, but that's more of our generation. Bag of tricks, maybe. But he's been all around, and he can wrestle in those different forays into those different styles. Because he is where most people say, "Oh, I'm a wrestler," and they only work weekends and quote unquote work. This man actually made a living off wrestling. Now, 2014, Jimmy Rave disappeared for a little bit. 2014, he come back with a vengeance at the end. Excuse me. 2015 has been Jimmy Rave's year. Georgia wrestling history. Brian Slack, he and I, of course, I have a vote for the nominations and for the awards. I'm telling you right now, my vote for Wrestler of the Year is going to Jimmy Rave. They always ask for 5 nominations. I'm giving them 1. And that's just how I do it. And that's something I really want to talk about with you because... But, okay, anyways, yeah. Jimmy Rave, amazing. 2015 Wrestler of the Year in the state of Georgia, in my opinion. But...
I've got to jump in on this one, and pardon me,
here we go.
PTI, dude. Pardon the interruption.
That's a great show.
Yes, it is. Still, after all these years, a whole lot better than First Fake. I like... Well, seriously, that's what I call it.
I don't like First Take used to be something different than what it is now when it's Stephen A. Smith. When it was Woody Page and what's the other guy's name? I can't stand. God, Woody Page.
Skip Bayless.
Yeah, Skip Bayless. Yeah, I'd never liked Skip Bayless, but Woody Page always brought a irreverent humor to that. So, and I don't like Stephen A. Smith. I haven't liked Stephen A. Smith in some time. Well,
Stephen gets a little bit militant, and I understand his perspectives, and it happens. I just say that if Skip were to get as militant as Stephen A. does, he'd probably get fired finally. But,
yeah, definitely.
But Skip knows his role, and he is the diva.
Yeah, and Stephen A. Smith also has made a lot of money for ESPN. He writes some very, very good books.
Oh, yeah. But I've got to add some names to the mix. I'm going to add the name Tyson Dean, the reflection of perfection.
He'd be my number 2.
He has had a great 2015, and don't forget,
yes,
Jimmy Rave and Tyson Dean, under the banner of Peach State Wrestling Alliance, went at it in a 1-hour Iron Man match at Peach State at the VFW Fairgrounds a few months back. I've watched this match from back in July, and dude, they tore it the hell up. Another person that I'm going to put on that ballot is going to be a person, you have a unique nickname for him. You talking about that Okunas? I'm talking about Tommy. You say it. It sounds better when you say it.
Oh, coon ass.
Tommy too much.
That's how he sounds. That's exactly how he sounds when he says it. So,
I mean,
but yeah, Tommy has a great year. Now, I think he would be maybe the most improved wrestler of 2015.
I could go in that. We'll see. Yeah, I can go in that direction. But Tommy's also been turning in some hellacious performances at WrestleMerica, at NWA Atlanta, at Peach State, at an 2 or 3 other shows. And I've also got to keep in play. I mean, those are 3. Okay, you can say pure standouts. But I'm also going to sit back and say another person as far as, I've got to put Fried Eddie on that list. Because Fried Eddie's had a great 2015, working in a number of different promotions. He's held gold throughout the, different promotions in the state of Georgia. And whether it be at NWA Atlanta, whether it be at WrestleMerica, whether it be at Anarchy, whether it be up at Empire. And, I haven't kept track of Empire over the last couple of months, but I know they've been, when I was paying strong attention to them, they were turning in some great shows. And I've got to put it out there like that. Rave, I have an ultimate amount of respect for. And it has nothing to do with the fact that he has said that Beyond Ringside is the only Jimmy Rave approved radio show in the world of pro wrestling today. And we made Jimmy Rave approved. And pop. But there's been some great talent. And over here in Alabama, we've had some great talent as well. And we're definitely going to be going into that in the next few weeks. Because, Wick, it is time almost for the TBD 2015 AWA ARDS. I put 2 A's in award, second syllable. Who cares?
Oh, God. Yes, the 2015 Southeastern Awards will be next Wednesday. Also, next Wednesday, our guest will be Doom Trevor Eon.
Nice.
He's got a big bout coming up Friday against Big Toom. It's the 7th anniversary for Pro South.
Right.
So we will talk to him about that. Hopefully he will be in one piece. Discuss that with us. But Spiral, Jimmy Rave. Spiral is one of those guys that is a freak of nature. His kicks, of course, we all know about. Deceptively strong with his elbows. Anybody that's ever caught a forearm from Spiral can tell you he will knock your block off and can take to the air with the best of them.
Yep.
You look at the Dark Cloud and that is a fantastic splash, and he uses it with such force that, we saw the damage that it can do and what happened throughout the Southeast, but more or less at GCW. GCW is his home. This is Jimmy Rave coming into the Lion's Den. And also, least we not forget, he will be at Peach State earlier in the evening taking on Tommy Too Much, Coon Ass.
Mm-hmm.
So Jimmy Rave, what percentage will Jimmy Rave be at, Tony Stark? Will he be at Red Skull levels, or will he be Baron Zemo levels? That's the question you have to ask. And I know only 5 people get that joke, but
I'll go you one better. Regardless, he's going to be in a hell of a match against Tommy Too Much for the Peach State Heritage Championship before he makes his way to Pell City, as you just said. When he walks in that door getting ready to take on Spiral in the main event as part of the Heavyweight Championship tournament, I'll still sit back and say this will be the second battle of Smith versus Neo.
That's funny. A little bit more up to date. A little bit more people understand the Matrix. The analogy. But
or actually, I'll say Smith versus Smith or Neo versus Neo, because look, Rave is a very popular character, which is a lot of people say that is the complete oxymoron and antithesis of what Jimmy Rave has been. And of course, Spiral, of course, has worked both sides of that fence as well. He's traveled the top of that wall. So it's like, yeah, you really can't say Smith versus Neo. You've got to say Neo versus Neo in this regard.
I see more of a Lawrence Fishburne Neo. Morpheus was the epitome of that, being the trainer. He's the Wildcat to Batman.
Okay.
This is going to be a very good battle, but a great war.
But Iron Man versus War Machine.
Man, yeah, Iron Man and War Machine. There you go. Rhodey reference for all those out there. And by the way, anybody that is posting spoilers for Star Wars, go fuck yourselves.
I'll be kicking some ass.
They've already started.
Dumbasses. Leave it alone.
There's already motherfuckers that have seen it in Australia and over in England posting spoilers. Like some fuck sticks.
Well, that's the problem with social media. I mean, there is no respect left in this world, and social media is the first bastion of proof in that regard.
That's because the internet has to be filled up with news daily and constantly. It's an ever-revolving door.
It is.
And they have to have it filled up. Hell, look at us. We're on the internet right now, talking about wrestling and talking about motherfuckers on the internet.
Yep.
So there's that revolving door and evolving door. It used to just be blogs. Now you have YouTube. Now you have Daily Motion. You have people putting up vlogs and blogs. You have people that have started up their own websites dedicated to this, and that's what they do all day long. Is they want to be the first ones to spoil something, or they want to be the first ones to be like, "Oh yeah, this is the greatest review of all time."
Yeah, they want to be the one who gets the word out there first and say, "Ha, I did it first. I did it first." Fruity bastards.
Well, let me be the first to tell you this. Well, I said it first last night, but let me be the first to say it tonight. Jimmy Rave and Spiral could be match of the year.
Yeah.
Last year, Spiral and Mike Cruz, their ladder match at the end of the year. To me, match of the year. This is going to be match of the year.
And I'm going to give you another kick in the gut. Because less than 24 hours after that, Jimmy Rave will be in the main event facing off against Gunner. Yes, the Universal Soldier Phil Shatter, as we have come to know and love him, but of course TNA Superstar Gunner at the main event for Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment Show of the Year 2.
You just made my case for him being 2015 Georgia Wrestler of the Year.
You know, it's funny because we talked.
Just made my case, Eddie.
I was watching the Heisman pre-show the other day because damn it, somebody had to. Say what?
The Derrick Henry show?
Yeah, pretty much. And they one of the pundits made a comment. When the season first started, everybody thought that Leonard Fournette was going to run away with it. But then as November hit, it came down to 3 other candidates who were in breakout. So what people did back in the month of January, unless you've been keeping a very strong calendar, you're going to remember. And it's like the thing I've always said about WWE programming and pro wrestling in general. The last thing you see is the first thing you remember. Rave is going to have 3 hellacious matches in 2 nights within 24 hours of each other legitimately.
Yes, and you're having his match against Tommy Too Much is very personal. His match against Spiral is respect, and his match at AWE against Shatter, a.k.a. Gunner, that is all about respect. So, I mean, he's running the spectrum. You know, Jimmy Rave, I mean, I just want to be the first to say this, period. Jimmy Rave may be becoming Saint Walker. He may become the Blue Lantern. Just saying.
Can't wait till next Monday when my Legion of Superheroes flight ring comes in.
Oh, yes, I know. I tried to put on... last night, I did record a promo for Pro South in their 7th anniversary. Ace Haven hit me up about sending a video for them to put on their screen. I cannot wait for everyone to see this. A lot of tongue-in-cheek in this video.
Good.
56 takes.
Speaking of tongue-in-cheek, I would like to commend you for biting your tongue, much less keeping it tongue-in-cheek,
Yes.
when MWDS brought up the name that you have gone off twice about inside the last 2 years.
Deservedly so.
Deservedly so, but I'd like to commend you. You held your tongue during GCW Radio, and for that, sir, I'm impressed.
Well, it's just because it was Dan.
What are you going to do when she comes to work for the company?
I don't know the bitch. I probably won't even shake her fucking hand. Fucking whore ass.
And we'll leave it at that.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Nothing alleged about this. You've got a collision waiting to happen, and that is 2 bulls about to get horn to horn, legitimately speaking. The Grand Design, Clyde Braddock, of course managed by you, as is the Complete Wrestling Machine Spiral. But Clyde Braddock will be going head up against the King of the Southeast, Francisco Chiazzo. Wick?
Where to start? Okay, first of all, two bulls. We got to come up with a better analogy than that, Eddie. We just poured through like 17 analogies of comic book references. Francisco was a comic book character. Who would he be? He'd probably be the Penguin, but I digress. Gorilla Grodd. Holy shit. Thank you, Angie Sick, and yelling shit out from across the house. So we have Gorilla Grodd against Clyde Braddock's not the Flash, but I'm trying to think of a DC.
How about the good concept? Well, considering the background that both individuals have, why not the Weather Wizard versus Mirror Master?
No. He's cooler than that. He'd be Captain Cold if he's going to be a villain. Come on now. Captain Cold's badass.
Only on the Flash.
You son of a bitch. No, he is not. Look. Captain Cold has always been a badass. We all can't be Captain Boomerang and his fucking boomerangs he throws around. Yeah, Captain Cold has always been a badass. And no, he's not a Killer Frost, because Killer Frost is amazing. But Captain Cold, I've always liked Captain Cold. And he's part of the Rogues, and the Rogues don't kill. So, and he's in Legends tomorrow. So
yes, and that comes up in about 3 weeks.
January 21st. Go check out Fat Man on Batman for Andrew Kreisberg's interview with Mark Bernardin and Kevin Smith. It's a 2-parter. It is very good, and you will learn a lot about Arrow, Flash, and, of course, Legends of Tomorrow, and a little bit about Supergirl and that. Martian Manhunter. That's who Clyde Braddock is. This is Gorilla Grodd against Martian Manhunter.
That's nice.
John Jones. In fact, I'm going to make sure that he has a few Oreos before the match. Clyde Braddock, as I said last night, in 3 years has come so far. I mean, the man has worked his ass off in and out of the ring. He has had his ups and downs in and out of the ring, but he has steadily went forward, forever forward. He proved that he was not a maybe, that he was a definite. Clyde Braddock put his nose to the grindstone and went. Clyde Braddock, we all saw what happened in global warfare, and it was terrible. We also witnessed what happened the last time he faced Francisco, when, thanks to Teddy Tutwater III, there was a pair of brass knucks involved. Of course, there always are. Teddy and Francisco victorious against us, but this is for the World Heavyweight Championship. This is a tournament that is Clyde Braddock's to lose. The final solution to everything is Clyde Braddock. I've told everybody this. I told AJ this. I've told Spiral this. We talked. Of course, whenever we go back and forth, AJ's always got to bust everybody's balls. But when it comes to the Merchants of Death, some of the most prestigious names have been under that umbrella. AJ Still, Spiral, Clyde Braddock, it's all about one thing. It's about the art form. It's about the sport of the gods. It's about what we do and what we go out and harness that energy and that power. He has put all that towards this moment. This is his tournament to lose. Francisco has a lot on his plate. Francisco has been doing a lot of different things, now monikered the King of the Southeast, and not just the King of Florida. I think maybe he's taken this a little blasé. I believe that Francisco may be overlooking Clyde Braddock. He generally doesn't do that, but I know his attention has also been pulled away for him training Stormy Lee and getting Stormy ready for her big battle on December 26th. So that's just my opinion. That's just one Nemesis's opinion, and I'm the only Nemesis that really fucking matters. So, Eddie, your thoughts?
You know, I made a statement last night during GCW Radio about Braddock, and
You made a lot of statements.
yeah, I did, and the transformation and the evolution of Clyde Braddock. I mean, you're very quick to remind everybody that only a couple of short years ago, Clyde was sitting at a merch table, and now Clyde, with the dog determination that he has, the
3
tenacity.
years ago, last month, sir.
Yeah,
Just to be specific, Southern Legends Fan Fest 3 years ago, Clyde Braddock was selling T-shirts at the underground merch table. Yes, sir.
Yep.
Sorry.
and then as it stands right now, the Grand Design Clyde Braddock has made so many strides. Cut weight, toned up, listened. Of course, hell, he was doing that from the get-go. But as it stands, he learned his lessons and continues to learn lessons because he realizes that this is a process. Thank you, Nick Saban, for the use of the word. I'll give you $1 later. Roll Tide. But for me, there are very few people that in the short amount of time that he has been A, active, and B, full tilt, very few people can touch Clyde Braddock. When he and Chiazzo get together on December the 26th in Pell City, Alabama, I'm waiting. Because you have got one of the most well-rounded in-ring performers in Francisco Chiazzo. And you have an individual who has learned how to take his strength and turn it into multiple strengths. The only thing I just worry, not really worried, one thing I'm going to be very curious to see is if Braddock has progressed to the point where he can scout Chiazzo's backhanded side. Because you know Chiazzo knows the dirty tricks and he's not afraid to use them.
Well, here's the thing. Let's be honest.
Go ahead.
Let's be 100% honest with this. Clyde Braddock went on the road with Show in the Box for, 5 months? He learned a lot about and a lot from those guys. Leading into global warfare, he thought he was prepared. I knew that we were totally outmatched, and they proved it. Dan Sawyer and those guys proved exactly how outmatched we were. So we licked our wounds collectively, and the Merchants of Death were formed. Things have changed a lot since Spiral, AJ, and Clyde and I have come together, and I have brought back the MOD. But we have decided there will be no shenanigans. There will be no shamrocks and shenanigans. There will be no underhandedness from our perspective. Peach State's a totally different thing. Now, I will cheat like a motherfucker at Peach State. Don't fucking turn your back on me. I'll fucking bite the shit out of somebody. I'm just saying. When it comes to GCW, out of respect to you, the liaison between Bullet Bob and to Bullet Bob and to Dan Sawyer, we collectively decided that there will be no rule breaking. Francisco is going to go and do what he wants to do. There is no honor among thieves. There is no wherewithal from him to pull himself back as Teddy, Stormy, and of course, Simon will be there ringside. I'm sure of that. I'm glad that he has his little Adam Rose entourage with him. I just want to know which one is going to play Aquaman. A little entourage show for you.
Yeah, I know.
Terrible fucking show. I hated that show. Fucking sucks. Jeremy Piven's a dickhead. And I know dickheads because I'm a dickhead. Clyde Braddock. Clyde has been working with a jackhammer every day for the last 3.5 months. 80-pound jackhammer. 6 days a week. And then going to the gym 5 days a week. That's why he hasn't been able to be on the radio. He's been in the gym. So you tell me, somebody that is throwing around that weight, somebody that is able to go out and do the things that Clyde has been able to do, sometimes the underhandedness and the backhandedness is all for naught. But he does have to keep his head on a swivel because there's a lot of them motherfuckers in just two of us. Less is more. There's plenty of us, though.
Oh, yeah.
So, with that being said, we're going to take our first break of the evening. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about the card. And also, we're going to talk about a certain speech that a friend of the show, a friend of this entire radio network, Mike Quackenbush, gave in Philadelphia just a few days ago, not even a week ago. Right here, the To Be Determined Show live, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com.
Howdy, friends. This is the Magic City Motor Mouth, Fast Eddie Layne, with your invitation to join yours truly, along with Mark Mabo Bowman and the Oracle of Ominous, the Wicked Nemesis, every Sunday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern, 3:30 p.m. Pacific, for Beyond Ringside Live. Wrestling, mixed martial arts, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Keep your eyes open on BeyondRingside.com for all of upcoming show information, and of course, catch us on social media as well. Until then, we'll see you this Sunday, 6:30 Eastern, for Beyond Ringside Live on the Beyond Ringside Radio Network.
Sunday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us for the Midnight Black Mass. Myself, the Reverend Dan Wilson, brings you the dark gospel of professional wrestling, uncensored, unedited, uncut, and not for the faint of heart. You can find out more about us at youtube.com/pottyhumor or subscribe at Potty Humor on iTunes and Stitcher today.
At you with more charisma than a Dylan Cook cardboard cutout. The To Be Determined Show live, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com, as well as Stitcher, Spreaker, iHeartRadio, Ustream, and the Beyond Ringside Radio app. And what did I forget, Eddie? I know I forgot one. What did I forget?
TuneIn Radio.
TuneIn Radio. Damn it, I always forget that one. And Podomatic. Check us out on Podomatic if you haven't already. We have a Facebook fan page. Go and check us out. Eddie, we were discussing GCW and the card for December 26th, Seasons Beatings. I swear to God, I'm going to fucking sit down with whoever comes up with these names. I'm going to tell them, look, I'm tired of Seasons Beatings.
Well, look, GCW's been doing, okay, fine, Dan Sawyer. GCW's been doing Seasons Beatings for well over a decade.
Oh, I know. I give Dan shit all the time. Now, let's be honest, I know we pull back the curtain. We all know, I think it's pretty apparent now, Dan owns the company and he answers to several people. But I love Dan to death. The names for some of these shows make my asshole cringe up.
That's funny.
I give Dan so much shit because I love Dan to death. Dan is like family, he really is. But Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. Everybody does the Seasons Beatings. And I know he was the first, and he's the only one in Alabama. But couldn't we call it like Christmas or the...
Don't say chaos.
Alabama?
Say what?
The Krampus visits Alabama? I don't know.
It could be the Holiday Hoedown.
Well, we'll be there.
The Kwanzaa hold on. Damn it, I had the Kwanzaa Crushdown.
That's pretty good.
Kwanzaa Crushathon.
That'll bring in our four extra black fans we have.
Well,
they're probably kin to Dylan Cook too, for all we know.
Is Angie within earshot?
Angie, can you hear?
This one's for you, darling. Well, we could always just call it the Festivus Fuck 'em Up.
Yes, Festivus Fuck 'em Up. That'll bring in our 3 Seinfeld fans.
Ooh, there you go. Now,
for the rest of us,
coming back over to hashtag GCW Seasons Beatings.
Yes.
There you go.
You use the voice. I know what that means. Bring it back in, Wick.
Yeah. Not really. I was having fun, but I know you wanted to cover as much as you can of this because we've got something we really want to hit in our next segment. So we want to make sure to
talk about something come up. We will talk about something important. We're going to talk about the Quack speech.
Yeah.
Mike Quackenbush. No. But GCW, I want to talk about Dylan Cook and Mudbone. Dylan Cook was injured when we last saw him.
Yep.
He has Mudbone in the GCW heavyweight title tournament.
He go get hurt again.
Man, Dylan. Man.
You brave boy.
I'm gonna talk down in a language that Dylan can easily understand. Dylan, you're gonna have to go out. You're gonna have to do what's right for you. Well, thanks for noticing me.
I was waiting on the Eeyore reference.
It is. Angie screamed it out. Do the Eeyore. Yes, the Eeyore out. And I do that to Dylan. I tell me it's bad when Leon Stresser's poor ass has more charisma than you. And Leon, get better. Get better. I think Dylan, this is a turning point for Dylan's career. I'm going to be honest. Well, Dylan has so much to prove in this match against Mudbone. Mudbone, one of the most feared guys in the Southeast. Him and Shane Marks, probably the two most underrated wrestlers. You throw Tyson Dean in that mix as well.
Yeah.
But Mudbone, no joke. Mudbone is going to beat the shit out of you. Mudbone is going to throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. Dylan better be ready. But we all know he's not.
Actually, I think this time Dylan may actually be more ready than you give him credit for.
I'm telling you. I've told Dylan the way to go at Mudbone. You don't fucking hesitate. You cannot take your foot off the throat of somebody like Prowler and Mudbone. And I've told Dylan this. Dylan's problem is he goes in there and he takes these guys down, and he's still a rookie. Hey, this is like his first full year. Dylan's problem is when he goes in, when he wrestles, and this is not just pulling back the curtain, whatever, but I've told him this, he out-wrestles them and then lets up. It's exactly what Alabama used to do. Crimson Tide used to do that. They would beat the shit out of somebody and then they would let up.
Yep.
You have to keep your foot on the fucking throat. It's that killer instinct. That's exactly what Dylan is missing, is a killer instinct. He's going to fucking have to have a killer instinct and a Mortal Kombat against Mudbone.
And that's putting it nicely and mildly, too.
But I love Dylan, man. Dylan has all the potential in the world. Dylan's problem is Dylan. Dylan does not have a killer instinct. And I've told Dylan, now, Dylan tried it, Global Warfare. He went in there like a man on fire. And Simon Says and Francisco proceeded to beat the shit out of him. Beat the fuck out of Dylan. And you can see that shit on YouTube. Look at GCW Pro Wrestling.
Yeah. YouTube.
Go look at that fucking video on YouTube. You tell me Dylan Cook went in there like a man on fire, boom. And you can see me talking shit to Leon when Leon comes in. I said, they are fucking killing your tag team partner. You better get your fucking ass in there and do something, Bull. And then Bull proceeds to get kicked in the nuts as soon as he walks in the steel cage.
Of course.
I was like, damn it.
Bull got kicked in the little badges.
But it was Leon just, man. Leon, get better. Dylan, get that killer instinct. Eddie, your thoughts on this match?
If he doesn't have a killer instinct going into Saturday night, December the 26th in Pell City, Alabama, he is going to find out what one is firsthand. Because if you think for a second that Chiazzo and Says can genuinely... Okay, they have a great fighter's instinct. Mudbone has a killer instinct. Mudbone will dissect you and then dissect the dissection and then hang it all up to dry.
Well, Francisco and Simon also go out there, and if you're having a bad match, they'll embarrass you.
Yeah.
If you have a bad match against Mudbone, Mudbone will beat the fuck out of you.
Mudbone will just kill
Fucking face paint in his little corner. I'm telling you right now, Damon, Chris, Doom, and myself were the only ones that talked to Bone. Bone is one of the most intimidating guys. My son did not see Bone without his face paint for about 9 fucking years, no lie. And still didn't even fucking recognize him until about 3 hours later on. He's like, oh my God. Bone is Bone. Mudbone is Bone. Like, I am the Wicked Nemesis away from the ring, and I'm Wicked Nemesis at the event. Bone will beat the shit out of you. You go out there and you stiff Mudbone one time. You know what Mudbone's going to do? He's going to hit you with an elbow, a punch, and then he's going to shoulder tackle you and then stomp on your face.
Yeah.
There are countless videos of young guys out there trying to be cock-strong against Mudbone. He ain't the one to play. Dylan has his work cut out for him. Clyde is ready for Francisco. Dylan, I know you listen to this fucking show. Corey, you better call Dylan and tell him. You better get on some NXT shit because he's going to need everything You're going to need that killer instinct against Mudbone, December 26th, Pell City Civic Center, Pell City, Alabama. GCW's Seasons Beatings. Next, sir.
Well, do me a favor. Let me go ahead and bring this into play because look, I understand the concept of wanting to win a certain way. Been there, done that, understand the concept. I genuinely do. And I happen to know, because I've had conversations with Bull before, about the concept of Dylan and a killer instinct and Dylan's progression. Dylan wants to win in a more true manner than just going straight for a jugular. Yeah. And Bull has had this conversation with Dylan. It's like, it's not a case of toughening up, because Dylan's a tough kid.
No, absolutely not.
But you can be tough all day long. You can be, okay, put it this way. As a vampire, you can be tough and strong all day long, but unless you know how to bite and go for the jugular and just suck every last drop of blood out of your opponent or your victim, you're going to die of starvation. Because guess what? That victim is going to get away, and sometimes that victim can turn the table on your ass.
Yeah, sometimes they become Vampire Hunter D.
Yeah, exactly.
Really country. Can I say that again? Sometimes they become Vampire Hunter D.
There you go. Works for me.
That was really country. I'm so sorry. God, I'm going to punch my mom in the face. Anyways.
I was about to say, are you listening to like Young Jeezy or DJ Khaled over there? Because I'm catching bass from hell.
Oh, I'm sorry. I actually have the laptop set a little bit further away, and we're trying to do something. There's always like a weird wind tunnel.
Yeah, I know.
I have no fucking idea what it is. It's probably this laptop, but you know, we always have fun. And I want to say the feedback from the shows, oh my god, they are so funny. Some of the shit that people go like, really, like Aries Brothers, love the Aries Brothers. Those guys always point out the shit I say, and I forget what I say. When we do this show, it's non-scripted. We go, we say what we say, and it's over.
Yeah,
and
we don't even bullet point.
Ether.
We don't even bullet point. Wick will come to me about 2 minutes before the show and say, well, he'll get in touch with me earlier in the day and say, well, this person's coming on. Okay, cool. Which way do you want to go with the interview? He's, F it. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's always more fun to go out and catch people off guard. And you really get to know a lot about somebody. As we've said several times, we are in education. We understand that most of the people that listen to us are people that really love the business, are in the business, or want to get in the business. So
true. Now,
next on the card is the tag. I want to talk about this women's tag.
Before we do that, another one of your charges is going to be in action Saturday night, December the 26th. And I'm making a reference to the real deal AJ Steele, the man that I call a tank.
You make it seem like I'm trying to forget about him. I was going to cover that after the women's match, because the women's match actually ties into this match. Shane Andrews and Jessie Bell. They're always together. They're one and the same. Shane Andrews against the real deal AJ Steele. Eddie, we talked about this last night. You have been able to see AJ go from heel to fan favorite. You have seen the complete turnaround, the complete ascension, not the stupid fucking tag team, but the complete ascension that is AJ Steele at GCW. Former GCW World Heavyweight Champion AJ Steele. Former GCW Tag Team Champion AJ Steele. Former NWA World Tag Team Champion AJ Steele. Former Blacklist. Former Usual Suspect. Current Merchant of Death. AJ Steele is a specimen. AJ Steele is what you want a professional wrestler to be. If you want to start a company, one of the guys that you centralize on is AJ Steele. AJ Steele is what you want in a babyface. AJ Steele is what you want in a wrestler's wrestler. AJ Steele goes out, he performs, he will beat the fuck out of you if you step out of line, but he also has a great sense of humor, and he helps the young guys so much. And he is definitely the leader of the Merchants of Death, let me tell you that.
That's a warped sumbitch, too.
Oh, God, man.
He has a warped sense of humor. We're as nutty as ours. And I got to take umbrage, well, not umbrage, but I'm just going to take exception with one little comment that you made. Because I've watched AJ Steele as a heel, and I've watched him as a babyface. And to put the world in proper perspective, there is no effing difference.
Yeah, there is.
No.
Opening slaps and punches. That's it. That's
Oh
it.
no!
Let's be
He'll
honest.
open.
That's the
He
only
will.
thing,
He will open hand slap the hell out of you from the get go, and he will also punch the hell out of you from the get go.
Yes, sir.
Steel. The only thing. Okay, when he had this vaunted face turn, when he the changing the guard as far as personalities go, he didn't change a damn thing. The only thing that changed was the people in the other corner. And I have said this for a long time. And folks, I'm going to digress for a hot second. Let's go ahead and play this little game about the about WWE. Roman Reigns, when he was first introduced as a member of the Shield, was a badass. When the Shield started to disintegrate, Roman Reigns was still a badass. But then the WWE wanted to show the softer side of Sears and just completely denut Roman Reigns down to the level, I'm a family man and I'm a da-da-da and I'm a da-da-da and da-da-da. They denutted Roman Reigns. He was no longer the badass. He was a glamorized muscle boy, which is what Vince likes to do nowadays and creative likes to do nowadays, because Vince's creative team writes television. They don't write wrestling. NXT writes wrestling because they have people who've been in wrestling on the creative team at NXT. Thank you. Because remember a few months back when they were in Philly and Reigns got booed out of the building? And yet this past Monday night, after the performance that Reigns gave at TLC, and he came into that event Monday night in Philly and was cheered by the crowd when he was slapped 8 times by Stephanie McMahon. The crowd cheered. When Vince McMahon showed up and called out Roman Reigns, the crowd was with Roman Reigns and Vince McMahon. But in that main event with Sheamus, which I will sit back and say that he had a good match on Sunday and he had a good match on Monday. That's 2. One more, that's called a winning streak.
Oh, Major League.
Yes, sir.
God damn it. That's one of my favorite lines in a movie ever.
Thank you.
That's called a winning streak. I love that movie.
Thanks, Lou.
Anyway, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
Lou Brown. But from that vantage point, when Reigns captured the title Monday night on Raw, which I'm going to go into that a little bit further on down the line of the show because there's some things I want to hit on tonight. Roman Reigns was accepted back for the same Roman Reigns that was a part of the Shield and just after the face turn, or the dissolution of the Shield, because WWE rebuilt him. I tell you that to tell you this. You don't have that problem in AJ Styles.
Nope.
AJ Styles was born a badass.
Yep.
AJ Styles is a tank that don't care who the hell he run over. He is a very accomplished professional wrestler. He is good on the microphone, great presence, great personality. If you have a card that you book AJ Styles on, you know that you are going to be getting a tremendous in-ring performer. Whether he is cast in the role of a rule breaker or a fan favorite, antagonist, protagonist, babyface, heel, take your pick. I don't care. 1 week from Saturday, I'm ready for it to be here, damn it. 1 week from Saturday, he's facing off against a very talented performer in the name of the bad boy Shane Andrews. This kid has been earning his stripes and learning his lessons. He's developed quite a reputation, especially around the southeastern U.S., up and near the mid-Atlantic states as well. This is going to be a classic confrontation. For those who think the person with the size advantage or the reach advantage is always guaranteed a victory, you're wrong. Because I've seen a smaller guy beat a bigger guy. I've seen a lighter guy beat a heavier guy. So this is going to be one where Andrews, I've watched him around the South. I've watched tape on this guy. I've watched him live. I've worked with him. He's not coming into this match blindly. He knows AJ Styles. Just like AJ Styles, I'm sure, knows Shane Andrews.
Oh, yeah. We have some unfinished business with Shane Andrews.
Oh, yeah.
From Georgia.
So I'll give a deeper handicap on that Tuesday night, the 22nd on GCW Radio, because there's a lot more on that story to tell. Wick, your way.
You want to talk about Roman Reigns and AJ Styles? Right here's your comparison. One has personality, one doesn't. When Roman Reigns suffered that injury, they should have never had him do any kind of talking.
Nope.
That's where they lost the fans, because they realized he had no charisma. He has no personality. AJ Styles' personality comes out in everything he does.
Yep.
That's why he's a big motherfucker that is entertaining as fuck. Next up, sir.
Let's take it straight on into it. You've been wanting to hit this nail? Well, let's nail it. Ladies Tag Team Challenge Match. Makeup and Muscles. Veronica Fairchild and Stormy Lee Sloan taking on the combination of the OVW Women's Champion Jessie Belle Smothers and the GCW Women's Champion Calm Like a Bomb Pandora.
As anybody knows, Jessie Belle and Pandora, their feud goes way back.
They don't like each other.
Tennessee, Florida, Georgia, Mississippi, North Carolina, and Alabama. They say they're putting their differences aside.
For one
I say
night.
the X Factor in this is Stormy Lee. She is the green horse in this cavalcade of badassness. She has the most to prove in this match. You have Veronica Fairchild, arguably the greatest GCW women's wrestler of all time. Her and Tracy Taylor, neck and neck. And then you have Jessie Belle. Can anyone trust Jessie Belle?
No.
Jessie Belle will turn on you in a heartbeat. She is a smothers. And you have Calm Like a Bomb Pandora. I know that Veronica very uneloquently last night referred to her as the queen of makeup. No, not really. She's the black rainbow. That's Calm Like a Bomb Pandora. And I wish Angie was here so she could say, to be honest with you, she does it spot on.
Yes, she does.
This match could steal the show. This match has the makings of being something that is reverberated for some time to come, and you don't need Cisco to vibe out to understand what's going to happen. This is one of those moments that we will be talking about for some time to come. The fallout from this is going to be Chernobyl all over again. I know it. I feel it in my bones, like the arthritis.
Love the vibe reference there. Thank you.
Yeah, Cisco. Amazing.
Did you catch the subject switch for a hot second? Did you catch last week and the actually 2 weeks ago when they were doing the back-to-back event with Vandal Savage?
No, because I am on that episode of Flash, but I am on season 3, episode 10 of Arrow.
Ah, dude. Okay, you're gonna have to go, you're gonna have to bump into the next episode for to go back to back on that setting, because
I know we're so far behind, and we want to watch Supergirl because Martian Manhunter was on there, but we're so far behind.
Yeah, I'm behind on Supergirl too. I'm also behind on Gotham, which really sucks.
Gotham, the first season of Gotham was just dreadful. Flash, I love Flash. Flash is amazing, but as I've said before, you know, when you take wrestling seriously, you get to pick up on a few things here and there. I keep my head so far in my own ass with my own career that it's hard to... Because, I mean, let's be honest. To go from one of the most hated villains to a babyface that anybody gives a shit about, much less that they cheer, takes a lot of work, and constantly, creatively trying to, you know, change and smooth out different parts of the Wicked Nemesis, and trying to do this and trying to reference this and trying to make this better, and how can I do this, and watching my own tape and making sure that people know where I'm going to be at, making sure that the radio shows up. It's hard to catch up on all this. And when Arrow was in season 3, goddamn, I was booked every Friday and every Saturday somewhere. And we were doing the show, and at the time, it was fucking nonstop, Beyond Ringside, this, Back to Basics, Saturday mornings when I could show up, you know, fucking being on Georgia Wrestling Now, just here and there, wrestling pop culture back and forth. It was insane. So I'm very far behind. Of course, so was Angie. So
I've been trying to do a little bit of binge watching where I can, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is picking back up all over again. They've had a great season. Flash has had a good season. Arrow has been back on track like you wouldn't believe. I started with Supergirl. I've lost track of that one. I'm going to try to start doing some catch-up work on it. And like I said, I'm waiting for a little bit about 4 weeks from now and Legends of Tomorrow, because I think that's going to be a really good series. The limited run that it's going to be, or the run that they're going to have of it, because on that particular one, and I'm going to get back to the ladies match in a second. I mean, you've got Victor Garber coming back as Martin Stein. You've got Brandon Ruth as Ray Palmer, the Atom. Katie Lotz, White Canary. Arthur Darvill, Rip Hunter. Dominic Purcell, Heat Wave. Wentworth Miller as a Snart, Captain Cold. Sierra Renee, nicely played as Chiara, Hawk Girl. And, of course, Falk Henschel, Hawkman, made a nice additions to it. And with the new kid, Franz Drama, as Jefferson Jackson, the other half of Firestorm. I think they've got a good...
Amazing as Firestorm. Holy shit, he is amazing as Firestorm.
I think this kid's got a definite talent to him, and I'm really appreciative of the fact that they're using him. I hate the factor of the other person that was playing Firestorm getting knocked off the block. But as it stands, every once in a while, contracts can't be worked out, or people get other projects coming into play, and you want to go, that's the sad thing about it. If you don't see the possibility for your character and you take another project, when that character gets renewed, it's like, oh, shit.
But also anybody that's grown up with comics knows that there has been two versions of Firestorm, so
yeah,
they tied it in very well.
They did. They really did.
How the original Firestorm went out. Isn't that like Stephen Amell's brother?
Who's that?
The guy that played the original Firestorm. I think that's Stephen Amell's little brother.
I can't remember.
I believe it is. I'm pretty sure it is. But anyways, back the women's match. This will be a reverberation for some time to come. Can't wait to see this.
I'm going to give you a full handicap on that match right now. No, I'm not. Why? Wick, tell them why.
When we come back, we'll finish this discussion. It's time for our next break. The To Be Determined Show live beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com.
That's called a tease.
Hey, this is Stan Grubb for Wrestle Rage Radio right here on BeyondRingside.com. Join us every Sunday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for myself and Smart Rage as we discuss the professional wrestling business from WWE, TNA, and all things in between. We'll have an interview here or there. We'll see what we can do to just keep you entertained. And along the way, we're going to have to bring up some emotion and make you think. That's what we like to do. So join us here on Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we'll see you at Wrestle Rage.
The Mad Dog's House of Pain, the only nationally licensed pro wrestling school in the state of Alabama. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, trained by the Junkyard Dog, will be your trainer. You want to be a professional wrestling superstar? Learn from GCW's own Mad Dog's House of Pain. With over 22 years experience, learn from the Mad Dog's House of Pain. 205-567-6482. Start your career today. Call 205-567-6482.
2010, after 2 years of constant bullying, 11-year-old Ty Smalley took his own life. In the past 7 years, more than 55,000 children have taken their own lives due to bullying. That's 22 youth suicides every day. Stand for the Silent is a grassroots organization that educates people about the harsh reality of bullying and the devastation it causes, and they need your help. Visit standforthesilent.org to learn how you can get involved and help us to save lives.
I stand for the silent. I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I stand for the silent.
I'm Roddy Piper, and we stand for the silent.
The To Be Determined Show back live beyond Ringside Radio Network, beyondringside.com. Make sure you check out the Beyond Ringside Radio app as well. we were discussing GCW season's beatings before we went to that cliffhanger.
Yeah, really. I like that piece of music. Thank you, Shane Knowles, for getting me started on that. I appreciate that. Real quick, I was about to give a full handicap of the ladies' tag team match. I'm going to go ahead and break this down like this. You mentioned it perfectly a minute ago because the wild card in this matchup is Stormy Lee. Relatively young in the world of professional wrestling, but has some great people in the ring with her showing her the ropes. And I'm referring, of course, to the entire circle of disrespect, the foundation of professional wrestling. I'm also, it's a big world that she's moving into, but she's also got some pillars that she can lean on. So I'll break that down in that particular direction. But as far as it goes, I've got to ask the question, how well has Stormy Lee learned her lessons to this point? And going into a match of this magnitude, let's look at it like this, kids. When you're talking about Veronica Fairchild, you're making a reference to a young lady that is a very accomplished in-ring performer. I say that not only because I worked with her from the time that she started in this business, but the fact that I have watched her work in a number of different states across the country for a number of different promotions. She knows her game. She took time off. She has been back for a little while. I've seen her in the gym, and she has been approaching it like you wouldn't believe. I don't think there's going to be any ring rust there, because Veronica will not settle for that. The attitude that she has nowadays is a perfect complement to the way that she thinks. She's been on top of that mountain. She's held gold in a number of different promotions. She's looking for it all over again. Don't call it a reascension. Don't call it a rebirth. Call it a recapturing of a birthright in more ways than one. The lineage for her in pro wrestling is strong. The force is strong within this one. Not bad. I got close on that one. On the other side of the ring, you are talking about two of the premier names in women's wrestling at this point in time. The Black Rainbow, Calm Like a Bomb, Pandora. She has been in so many high-profile matches recently and over the last couple of years. Before Stormy got in, before Veronica came back, Pandora has been in those main events and continues to main event. Jessie Belle Smothers, the current OVW Women's Champion, and that's not the only title she has right now. She actually has 3 functional major women's championships, or drop that word, 3 functional major championships. So she is no stranger to gold. She is no stranger to a big match. Wick asked the question a little while ago, can anybody really trust Jessie Belle? My answer is no. But with the right incentive, you can stand side by side with someone bell to bell and not worry about trust. There are times when the enemy, you know this phrase, you know it so well because you've used it just like I've used it. The enemy of my enemy is my friend. Jessie Belle and Veronica have gone head up before. Jessie Belle and Pandora have gone head up before. Fact of the matter stands, on this night, there are so many question marks. Will there be ring rust for Veronica Fairchild? Is she back at 100%? Has Stormy Lee learned her lessons, and is she ready for that big match? Because this is a big match, Stormy. And Francisco, if you're telling her otherwise, dude, you know better than that. Pandora, calm like a bomb, and that bomb's ready to explode because she's had a lot dumped on her lately from a number of different sources. Jessie Belle Smothers, another genuine wild card in this equation. Where do loyalties lie? Where do allegiances lie? The truth will be told. The answers will be revealed on the 26th. You need to be there.
If I'm Pandora, and I'm giving advice to Pandora, I know she listens to the show. If I'm Pandora, Veronica tags in, I run straight over and I punch Veronica as hard as I can in the face and then see how she reacts.
Everybody's got a game plan. Everybody's got a game plan.
Until they get punched in the mouth. Thank you, Mike Tyson.
Amen.
What's up next, sir?
The only other match in play right now is the factor of trying to find out exactly what the Brotherhood Challenge is going to be.
Joshua Hagan, nice to have him back. Went and represented Alabama in the state of Mississippi in their southeastern, I believe it was a junior heavyweight tournament.
Super 8.
Super 8.
No relation to the hotel.
O'Malley. Maniac O'Malley. And Veronica Fairchild is also a part of this, and so was Teddy Tutwiler III. Now, what is this about them getting
Actually,
legal representation? What the fuck
actually,
is this?
Teddy's not a part of that faction. Teddy's a part of the Foundation of Pro Wrestling.
Whatever. Teddy's always up Veronica's ass telling her shit. So.
No, that's true. But actually, it's Robert Cosper, the Cause, who's a part of that entire litigation process.
Cause hasn't been there forever. Cause doesn't count anymore.
Cause hasn't been there in 1 month.
Cause. Stay home. Cause, just stay home. Don't go meddling with these fools. And I'm telling you now, what is this about legal representation?
The Cause has made it clear in a very vague manner. There's your oxymoron for the day, kids. Paradigm shift. That due to extenuating circumstances which have recently taken place inside the banner of Global Championship Wrestling, the Cause has found some things to be quite curious in his words. And he has brought in very strong legal representation. I'm under a gag order. I believe that if I say names right now, I'm in deep doo-doo. Here, wait a minute. Hold on. I hear something. Caw-caw, caw-caw. Yep, that's the call of the deep doo-doo bird. Go back and watch your movies. So, I'm not able to say anything right now, but I can say this. The representation that Cosper is working with, oh boy, things are going to get real weird real quick, and everybody better have their T's crossed and their I's dotted.
Well, they always seem to just not get booked, but work their way on a show. Joshua, you're better than that. Joshua, if I can speak to you, let's just act like it's just O'Hagan and I. Josh, I consider you a friend. We've had great battles back and forth. I mean, I thank God that I have nothing to do with you this set. Well, see, I'm trying to speed it up too.
Here you go.
On the 26th, because it seems like Josh has been up my ass for the last 3.5, 4 years. Joshua Hagan, what in the hell are you feeding Robert Cosper? Cosper disappears, becomes a hermit, starts wearing his hair back in a ponytail, then chops it off, and now you bring in Jedi Jesus himself, Robert Cosper, to go and talk to lawyers. You're better than that, Joshua. And Maniac O'Malley, what are those? I mean, seriously, I heard you got some new boots. Well, I hope you shine them up, and I hope that they look very nice, and I hope that all the laces are tied. You remember, laces out. You guys, in this open challenge, you guys might bite off more than you can chew, because you never know who's going to show up. And that's my 2 cents on that.
This is going to be good. I've heard a couple of different names bandied about, and if these are confirmed, this is going to be good. Oh, also making appearances now. Also, in addition to, and there's going to be some surprises coming up. There will be some surprises. The December 22nd episode of GCW Radio, you're going to want to listen to, because there will be some more matches unveiled. There will be some surprises teased. That's a fact. But also already committed to be there. Of course, you're going to see a number of your favorite GCW stars and personalities. Mad Dog Dan Sawyer, of course, yours truly. Fast Eddie Layne, the Wicked Nemesis, Theodore Tutwiler III, Senior Official, Bernie Kowanowitz, Cowboy Jack Gunn is slated to be there. Big K Holmes is slated to be there. There's some surprises coming up on the 26th. And I will say this, I'll put that realm of surprise into the same realm as how well Seth MacFarlane did his song on the Sinatra 100 tribute show. Boy, tore the house down. So these are some really good surprises that you're going to enjoy. For everybody who wanted to shred us during the month of November, I will sit back and say this, you will applaud in December, on December 26th.
I don't know who shredded anybody, but go fuck yourselves. So, how about that?
The IWC.
Oh, well, I don't know. Go fuck yourselves.
Oh, and by the way, you've seen the poster and the flyer and some of the matches for, I'm going to segue real quick, for December 27th at AWE, right?
No, I have not.
Okay. I've told you about one, Rave Gunner. There is one of your favorite people, two of your favorite people, one of your favorite teams in the whole wide world. Nick, Iggy, and Carrie Awful.
Team IOU.
The carnies that have no soul. That's mine for them. They call themselves the carnies. I say the carnies that have no soul. They will be in a tag team dog collar match against Joe Black and William Huckabee, known as the Sound of the Fury. These four men have had a running vendetta with each other for a while. A couple of months ago, when AWE invaded the Masquerade, I'm for Destination Atlanta. Let's just put it this way. The Masquerade could not hold them. They were fighting up and down the middle of North Avenue. I think it was North. And people were walking across the overpass of the street, cheering both teams on. One building could not hold them. So owner Josh Wheeler came out with the concept and the idea that, well, guess what? If the building can't hold them, we'll find a way to make sure the ring and the ringside area can. That's why they will be in a tag team dog collar match on the 27th in Atlanta. You've got back-to-back nights of great professional wrestling action. That whole weekend, the weekend of Christmas, the weekend wrapping up Christmas holiday, is going to be chock full. There's some great shows going on all across. And I will say this, another of your favorite tag teams will be coming up to Atlanta for AWE on the 27th. Former multi-time National Wrestling Alliance World Tag Team Champions John Davis, Corey Chavis, the Dark City Fight Club is back.
Yes, fuck yes. If you've never seen the Dark City Fight Club wrestle, you are missing out.
I'm going to get you in Atlanta before this is over with. I don't care if you don't like Josh Wheeler.
Murder One has my number. You tell Murder to hit me up. 322 all day.
Murder said you ain't got a hair in your ass if you don't come over there.
Oh, he's a fucking lie. He didn't say that shit.
I got him on speed dial. I'll pull him up.
You fucking pull that big motherfucker up. I don't give a shit. Murder One knows. I'll call his ass out. That motherfucker right there knows that he's over there kicking ass and taking names. Everybody sees what the fuck's going on.
Who did you say is coming on next week?
Doom.
What time? What time?
That, you know what? That is to be determined, sir.
Oh, okay.
No, actually, I don't know. Doom has been working his ass off in the gym, and also has 2 jobs. So that's the reason why he's not on tonight.
Oh, there you
go. I mean, to be honest, I really wanted to have him on, but he's super busy. And he asked could he come on next week, and I said, of course you can.
Then I will ask you right now, and if you say no, I'll understand. If I set this up, would you like to have M1 on here next week?
Murder knows. It's an open door policy for Murder One. He knows that.
Okay. It's on.
But we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to get serious for a moment. Something happened several days in Philadelphia. I don't know the exact date for it, but the founder, I guess is what he is officially, of Chikara. Mike Quackenbush had a very poignant speech about professional wrestling, and we're going to play that for you right here on the To Be Determined show, and then we're going to discuss it because it is very well worth the discussion. Do not go anywhere. We're coming straight back to the To Be Determined show live, Beyond Ringside Radio Network, and of course the Beyond Ringside Radio app.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Smart Rage from Wrestle Rage Radio, coming to you from the Beyond Ringside Radio Network. Join myself and my co-host, Super Stan Grubb, Sunday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern as we present Wrestle Rage Radio, where we rant and rave on everything in the world of pro wrestling. Sometimes we'll have a guest. Sometimes it'll be just me and Stan BSing about the sport that we love, pro wrestling. Check us out. Tune in Sunday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central, only on the Beyond Ringside Network.
The To Be Determined Show live Beyond Ringside Radio Network, BeyondRingside.com. Okay, we're going to set this up. This is from Ignite Philly from their YouTube channel. This was from December 13th is when it was published. Mike Quackenbush, founder of Chikara, on the art of pro wrestling. We're going to play the entire speech. It is very well put, and you, the audience, get to hear it right here on the To Be Determined show. This is, once again, from Ignite Philadelphia, or Ignite Philly, on their YouTube channel.
Thank you. Hello. I'm Mike Quackenbush, and I make professional wrestling. Thank you. I'm the upside-down guy in this photo. It was snapped in the last match that I had, and although you will not see me in the ring anymore, I'm still involved in the training of aspiring pros, and I work with the wonderful bunch of creative types you were so kind to name drop, Chikara. Outstanding. Thank you. I'm passionate about professional wrestling. I think pro wrestling is the most misunderstood form of entertainment on the planet. And I also believe it's the most fascinating and wonderful kind of performance art you could ever hope to experience. So why? Why is professional wrestling so misunderstood? Why is there such a stigma associated with being a pro wrestling fan? I think it is because for years, wrestling was stuck in this closeted cycle of self-loathing because we are not legitimate sport. I'm sorry, Adam. We're not. But we masquerade as that in the same way that the Harlem Globetrotters masquerade as competitive basketball. Pro wrestling is performance art. And the flavor of wrestling I like best is akin to a comic book come to life. It is colorful costumes. It is superhuman feats of strength and agility. It's heroes and villains. It's comedy and tragedy and larger-than-life characters. The exact tropes that hook me on the Justice League and the X-Men are what attract me to what happens in the ring. But for too long, the pervading belief in professional wrestling is that we could not come clean, that we could not be frank with our audience about what we are. And maybe this was born out of a need to project a tough guy image, or maybe this was born out of a desire to feel like we belonged to a secret society that had access to some sort of insider information. Or maybe it is because so many of us cannot bear the sound of the word fake. The risks we take to entertain our fans, the sacrifices that we make along the way, the passion that we pour into this pursuit of ours, all of that is very, very real. And it cuts like the worst kind of insult if someone were to summarize your risks and your sacrifices and your passions with the word fake. What's important to understand is that pro wrestling fans do not enjoy what we make because, well, they must not get it, right? They don't understand what it is. They think it's legitimate. No. Just like when you crack open a Harry Potter novel, or you tune into Game of Thrones, or when you buy a ticket to the newest Marvel movie, you check your disbelief at the door, and you expect that in exchange for this, you'll be provided with an escapist experience. That's the magic of it. And I know this all too well, because having been seduced by that magic at a young age, I have spent the balance of my life trying to make it and share it with others. Unlike any movie, TV show, any novel or comic book, pro wrestling is a uniquely dynamic experience. No movie will respond to your cheers or jeers. A novel will not high-five you should you pass by. A television show is a static experience projected onto a 2D screen. But a professional wrestler may land in your lap if you happen to be seated in the front row. We are just now finally beginning to open up about what we are. And this, at last, gives us license to explore our form's potential. Because for too long, wrestling has been content only to explore what it can be through the lens of legitimate sport. Well, what is professional wrestling through the lens of science fiction? Or through the lens of a murder mystery? What is pro wrestling through the lens of ballet? The best kind of pro wrestling aspires to take you on an emotional journey, to thrill you when an underdog triumphs, to resonate with you deeply when one tag team partner betrays another. It engages you in the chase for glory, and it drags you through the valley of defeat, and it even grants you access to that most intimate of moments when someone's lifelong dream is fulfilled. Our audience really experiences these emotional highs and lows with us, and the restorative catharsis our performance generates is shared between the people that craft it and the fans that go on the journey with us. My friends, there's nothing fake about that.
I will drink to that. Wick?
Once again, Ignite Philly. YouTube, go and check that out. We do not own the rights to that. We will consider that educational because you just got a fucking education.
Amen.
He hit one of the points that I've always pointed out when it comes to wrestling. Or several, but the one that stood out the most in my mind is something that I preached on this show and on Beyond Ringside, on Shoot Finish, and everywhere I could, on the highest mountaintop. When it comes to wrestling, you get interaction. You can yell at the screen during a football game. You can yell. The fans want someone to look at them and be like, shut up. Or look at them and be like, yeah, I know you are, but what am I? It's just the interaction, a high five. That's what drives the fans. That's what separates professional wrestling. Because you know if it happens in the NFL, if somebody talks to the fans, it's news. ESPN. Calvin Johnson, this, and Terrell Owens, this, it was always something if they just acknowledge the fans, acknowledge the ridicule. Great points. Eddie, your thoughts on this?
I thought that was probably one of the most eloquent dissertations as it pertains to the world, the business drink, and the industry of professional wrestling. And I will go ahead and put the word back in there, the sport of professional wrestling. Because I've said this for a number of years. When you go to a real, not an outlaw, not a backyard, sorry kids, pro wrestling show. Because, okay, let me clarify that from the get-go, because I know a lot of people who started out in backyards, but there's been a select few that have actually freaking gotten it. They understand and want to explore their own psychology and the ability and the art of storytelling. And there's a word that I put in there that a lot of people still don't quite understand. It's called psychology. Because the eyes are connected to the brain. The ears are connected to the brain. And those work together in conjunction with your brain. And guess what? Your brain is attacked and attached to psychology. Regardless of how many times you've had a temporal lobotomy. And when you go to a show and you open your eyes to the possibilities, and I've told people this for years, I've said this for years, check it at the door and let yourself have fun. Let yourself get lost in the moment. Let yourself become one with the show. Pick somebody you want to like and scream for them. Pick somebody you don't want to like and scream at them. There's no need to cuss. You can scream your ass off. But the fact of the matter stands. Fans in this day and age get it more than ever before, but don't get it. There are still some that just don't get it or won't get it or can't get it. And I'm sorry. There is so many different things I want to say about what I've just heard. And I've known Mike Quackenbush for a number of years. I've worked with him before. I've interviewed him on Beyond Ringside Live. Thank you, Mabo, for setting that up. It's one of the first interviews he did set up.
And it was amazing.
Yeah.
And we laughed our asses off.
And I've held Quack in high regard because the first time that I met him was down here in Birmingham, Alabama at Boutwell Auditorium with IWU when he and Reckless Youth tore the bloomin' house down. And this was Birmingham's primary. We'd had the junior heavyweight championship around here for years, and I don't mean the one that Mike Jackson's won 239 times. We had the United States Junior Heavyweight Championship, something that's been held by Johnny Rich, the Tonga Kid, Scott Armstrong, Ted Oates, Robert Gibson, Ricky Morton, legendary names in the world of pro wrestling, and so many more.
Don't forget Bobby Eaton.
Bobby Eaton's held it before. He's also held the Alabama heavyweight title.
Yes, he has.
So the fact of the matter stands. That was Birmingham's real initiation to cruiserweights.
Yes.
Because remember, down here in the South, for the longest time, it's been punch, kick, eye gouge.
Yep.
As a part of the psychology of telling the story of a professional wrestling match.
Wrestling.
Yeah. Yes, true. And then here come Quackenbush and Reckless Youth.
And then in come wrestling.
And then came wrestling. And the fans who were there.
And hold on, let me say something really quick, sir. I want to say that we're not knocking that, but their mentality, because it worked.
I was trained in that.
It worked down here because you could come down and do punch, kick, eye gouge, and it got over with the Southern fans.
Right.
So let me just say that. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. I mean, that's part of the way I was trained at the old Fairfield Theater, the Waylighters Music Hall on Gary Avenue in Fairfield, Alabama, when I stepped into the ring for the first time and the 33rd time as a trainee. Using 33 as a loose reference, I just like that. It's one of my lucky numbers at roulette. But whether it was Wayne Spradlin, Farrell Spradlin, Art Clancy, Bob Lavelle, Bob Milliken, Don Milliken, it didn't matter. Lee Peake, Dwayne Phillips, people who worked on me with my training. Dennis Marshall, the original executioner. These people helped me understand why a properly placed punch works, or a kick works, or an eye gouge works. But they also explained to me that's something you don't do every day. It depends on what part of the field you're coming from as to what you do and how you do it. Those who understand professional wrestling and the art of telling a story know what I'm talking about. It's more than just 39 high spots wrapped up with a small package. Normally Wick would be laughing his ass off right there because I actually said that. Or 200 pile drivers wrapped up by an inside cradle.
There you go.
Yeah. I'm sorry, a pile driver is a finishing maneuver. A DDT is a finishing maneuver. And God knows a DVD from the top rope, Death Valley driver from the top rope, is a fucking finishing maneuver. It's not a setup.
Double down.
A DDT is not a double down unless you're Mick Foley double arm DDTing as an act of desperation because you can't get up and make the pin. There are very few, 1 out of 100 times that I will accept a DDT as a double down. And it depends on where it is in the match. And you know that point where I'm talking about. If the face has been taking the heat for a good 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14 minutes, and then all of a sudden that one little burst of energy comes up, and you can catch that DDT, but it's an act of desperation, and oh my God, I can't move to roll over and make the pin.
It better be one of those ones where it's fucking, the referee gets to 7 or 8, you throw an arm across, and it's 1, 2, barely a kick out, and
I'll go with that.
Down.
I can go with that too. Quite easily.
I'm talking about where you get like 30 or 40 seconds. You better milk the shit out of that. And as a manager, that's what always killed me, is because when I called a DDT, that is the shit that I would do. And a manager shouldn't be the one to have to do that. A manager shouldn't be the one to have to call that. I've been in the ring with some dumbasses, and I've been in the ring with some greats.
Yeah.
I learned from one of the greats in Johnny Slaughter. That is something. Now, psychology, you talk about psychology, something completely different. You do not have psychology if you're a backyard wrestler, because you don't know psychology. Fans that think they know wrestling psychology do not, because you do not understand wrestling psychology completely, or even the least, until you're in the sport, the art of professional wrestling, the business of professional wrestling for some time. Because Bishop and I both thought we knew professional wrestling. We didn't know jack shit. And we watched wrestling all the fucking time, all day long. So, and Quackenbush hit it square on the head. Art form. It is performance art. It is an art form. That is exactly what it is. It's an art form. You and I and Tasha have had this discussion. Tasha Simone, 3-time former NWA Women's World Champion.
Yep.
We've had this discussion on several different shows. It is an art form. It is a sport of the gods. It is an art form. Our canvas just happens to be the mat.
A 16 by or 18 foot canvas.
Yes, our paint is the blood, sweat, and tears of our own and others. You can be Picasso, or you can be the Dark Knight, and I'm a surgeon, and this mud pit is my operating table. I know I just butchered that. I'm so sorry.
It's okay.
Go and check it out. Dark Knight Returns, Frank Miller. But Mike Quackenbush, thank you, because he hit it spot on the head. For anybody in the business and anybody that loves professional wrestling, that was pretty fucking spot on. And I know there were some controversial things he said, but that is from a man who has been a very significant part of professional wrestling and still is today.
You know, and I'm going to hit that F word for a second, and I'm going to go ahead and bring this one into play.
Fake.
Yeah, that's the F-bomb you never really hear me use, unless, of course, I'm talking about an ex-girlfriend and the word orgasm in the same sentence. Gotcha. Biatch. Not what you're thinking. Somebody long ago. If pro wrestling is fake, then a friend for over 20 years, Dan Sawyer, would not have been in St. Vincent's Hospital in Birmingham. If pro wrestling were fake, I wouldn't have slept in a neck brace for 3 nights after a chair shot by Micah Taylor. If pro wrestling were fake, how many friends of mine have had broken hands, broken legs, torn MCLs? Jeff McGowan wouldn't have had a problem with his MCL if pro wrestling were fake. Because if it were fake, we'd know how to get around all those little things. But guess what? I'll take the word scripted storyline program 7 days a week. You want to say that?
Eddie, I will do you one better. I have broken my wrist twice. The tip of my index finger is broke thanks to Spiral in the Battle Royal.
Yeah.
I have broken my pinky finger. I have broken my hand twice. I have torn my ACL. I have broken my collarbone. And I have broken 2 of my toes and had 1 concussion and about 8 or 9 black eyes and a broke nose. Thanks to professional wrestling. So, call that fake.
Yeah. So, like I said, and if you can, at Fast Eddie Layne on Twitter, Facebook.com/Fast Eddie Layne, all of the above. Find me on social media. Confront me in public. I don't care. If you want to put these in proper perspective, fine. You use that F word at your own risk. But 9 times out of 10, if you know somebody who is in this industry, in the sport, and in this business, drink, you will find, you know for fact that that word does not apply. We love what we do. I would give anything to be back in a condition physically safe and sound to where I could go back in as in-ring talent. But right now, with everything that's wrong with my corporeal form, there's no chance in hell I could actually go back in and work a full match. Not even with 6 months back in training. There's too much falling apart on this body. Sorry, kids. Fortunately, the couple of things in particular that don't need to fall apart haven't fallen apart, so I'm perfectly happy with that too. This thing we call professional wrestling, with both entertainment, thought I'd forgotten about that bit, didn't you? Is something that bites us It's a bug that bites us, and it turns into a fever, and it turns into an obsession. You heard the word passion used. Those who do not understand the word passion in its truest form do not understand why we do what we do. And that's the sad part about it. Because you're obviously not passionate about anything. Oh, yes, I am. I'm passionate about... Okay, please give me something that has been an overwhelming passion, desire, and obsession that you have wanted to do forever and a day that you still want to do to this day. And be honest with yourself when you answer that question. We know why we got in it. Pro wrestling saved my life, and I have no problem with it. In my younger days, I was a very troubled kid, probably about the same realm as I am right now. And I stumbled across pro wrestling one day when I was in a severe funk as a kid. And I started watching this going, what in the hell? And the next thing I know is like, okay, I let myself check it for a second, and I'm sitting back going, how in the hell is that big muff just popping away on somebody and they're not they're getting back up? Light bulb. Oh, this is cool. And then I checked reality for a minute. And then I started understanding people like Gypsy Joe and Tojo Yamamoto, the American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, Outlaw Ron Bass, Ox Baker, Terry Gordy, Michael Hayes, before Buddy Jack Roberts came along. The Tennessee Stud, Ron Fuller, the original Midnight Express. Then going up to the northeastern U.S., people like Bob Backlund, the New Zealand Sheep Herders before they hit Mid-South. The Moondogs, Captain Lou Albano, Killer Khan. These were cool characters. And then I started discovering the junior heavyweights. Jerry Briscoe, Les Thatcher, Tiger Mask, Mil Mascaras, all the different juniors. Hey, look, in my prime, I was 195 pounds, billed out at 212. I knew I was never going to be a heavyweight champion. I was perfectly happy running around with the cruiserweights and the light heavyweights, the junior heavyweights, because I know that my style could complement theirs and they could complement mine, and we could have a hell of a match on any given night. That's when passion burns even brighter, because you know that you can do this. And you can do it well. Okay, I was never great. At least I didn't suck. God knows that's the truth. But as far as it goes with Quackenbush, and I'll put this up in a nice little nutshell. Truer words have never been spoken. Go back and listen to what he says and how he says it. Once you disseminate the true style, the paradigm in play from Mike Quackenbush, then you get it. Wick?
It's all about a firestorm of passion. Passion is the essence of everything. People are passionate. There are people that go out there and chase their dreams. Some people just do it in an entertainment form. That's the difference. Some people are passionate about woodworking. Some people are passionate about building. Some people are passionate about going out and taking care of sick people. That's their passion. Our passions were entertainment. Our passions were the thrill, the inevitable madness that came with entertaining large groups of people. It is a drug, and it is the greatest drug. Our passion, our art form, is professional wrestling. Eddie, what does Beyond Ringside have upcoming, and how can everyone get in touch with you, sir?
Let's go ahead and take it fast forward, because live programming will resume on Saturday, December the 19th at 11 a.m. Eastern Time with the Shooters Gallery. Shane Knowles, Robert Cosper, and myself on the Saturday showcase. It's going to be a lot of fun. Just because college football's winding down, don't think for a second that there's a lack of things to talk about. And we have a question for the week for everybody. And Wick, feel free. Love to hear from you and Angie this week on this one. And this one goes for everybody listening, whether it's live or on replay. Listen closely. Come to BeyondRingside.com, put your answer in the chat. At BeyondRingside on Twitter, Facebook.com/BeyondRingside, and Facebook.com/BeyondRingside Live. Everybody's answers will be taken into... we'll read them all this coming Saturday. Go back through history with the impact that social media has had over the last decade or so. MySpace, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google+, Vine, Instagram, Periscope, Tout. What? With the impact that social media has had, and I know I missed some. Snapchat's one of them, and I'm on there, at Fast Eddie Layne. What is one moment in history, doesn't have to be sports, one moment in history that you would like to be the one to get the first mention of social media on? Everybody wants the scoop. Here's your chance, kids. What is the one moment in history that you would love to have social media and be the first one to talk or tweet about? Wick, be thinking about that. You and Angie both love to find out your answers, and you're more than welcome to call in Saturday morning. The Trifecta is back on Sunday, December the 20th. Beyond Ringside Live, 6:30 p.m. Eastern. Wrestle Rage Radio with Mark Rage and Stan at 9 p.m. Eastern, and at 11 p.m. Eastern, the Midnight Black Mass with Reverend Dan Wilson and Andrew Alexander. Back to Basics, the 10 count returns on the 22nd, along with Global Championship Wrestling's GCW Radio at 9 p.m. Eastern. Back to Basics at 10 p.m. Eastern. Last night, a lot of fun with Phil Stamper and Josh Wheeler. Had a great time. GCW Radio was a damn blast. The replay for GCW Radio is up. The links are all over the place. Now, I want to let everybody know, Sunday, December 27, we are #BR Road Trip one more time this year. From the Quad, 714 Spring Street with Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment. I'll use this comparison one more time. Beyond Ringside meets College Game Day. We will be live from the Quad before Show of the Year 2. Got some great things in the works for this one, and we will be doing an overrun to when they do their pre-show. So if you are at Show of the Year 2, drop on by. We'll be in front of the big screen. I mean the big projection screen. And you'll have your chance to get on and speak your mind, not only about Show of the Year, but you can drop a couple of lines about pro wrestling or whatever you'd like to talk about. Just keep it clean. You know the story. Once again, December 27th, it will go 4 p.m., I believe, Eastern Time. We may go a little bit later than that. I'm not sure. We're going to work on the logistics. Keep you posted. I'll have graphics and everything ready to go very soon. Members, Beyond Ringside, Wrestle Rage Radio, going to be there. May have some surprises for you. And, of course, the invitation's on the table for Wick and Angie to come over there as part of BR and TBD, too. Love to have the whole family over there for this one. Uncle Murder says you ain't got a hair on your ass. You know I'm kidding on that one, too, by the way. At Beyond Ringside on Twitter, Facebook.com/Beyond Ringside Live. For me personally, at Fast Eddie Layne, Layne on Twitter, Fast Eddie Layne on Instagram and Snapchat, as well as my home site of FastEddieLayne.com.
At Wicked Nemesis on Twitter, at The TBD Show for The To Be Determined Show. The Merchants of Death, the Sevenfold Saints, the Wicked Nemesis, The To Be Determined Show, all have Facebook fan pages. Give us a like and a share if you want to. If not, we completely understand. We're not for everybody. We're not everyone's cup of tea, because not everyone's cup of tea has dicks in them. Next Wednesday, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, live, right back here. Trevor Eon is our guest. We might have a few more surprises, especially going in to Season's Beatings. For Fast Eddie Layne.
Folks, wrestling fans in the Southeast, mark your calendar, make your plans. Saturday, December 26th, we are looking for you to be in Pell City, Alabama for Global Championship Wrestling Seasons Beatings 2015. Hashtag GCW Seasons Beatings. Get ready. It's going to be a party.
I am the Oracle of Ominous, the architect of intellect, the Wicked Nemesis, and of course the necessary evil. Good night, good luck, leave your week to be determined, don't be a maybe, be a definite, forever forward. The Merchants of Death.